Good morning, everyone. So in the last class, we are trying to discuss with the interface creation here, and we identified the basic syntaxes here, how we can work with the interfaces, as well as we identified with the nested interfaces. And finally, we check with one like real-time scenarios where we can use this particular interface here. So the scenario here we created as a interstack. So into stack we created here with the help of this particular two methods here. So these two methods we implemented in the implementation class called so fixed stack. Getting the point. So using this particular fixed stack, we are trying to implement those two methods here. The first one method called push method, and the second method we are implementing here pop method. So with the help of this particular two method, now what we are doing here, we are trying to insert the data into arrays, and later, so one method is trying to insert the data, and another method is trying to get the data from the particular int array. So as of now, so these are the information we discuss here. Getting the point. So one more important information I want to share here. So when we are trying to work with this particular fixed stack example here, along with this particular fixed stack here, I want to work with the dynamic stack here. I want to work with the dynamic stack here. So basically, if you observe carefully, whenever this particular condition is satisfying here, now what we are doing here, we are trying to throw like we are trying to print some message here. Getting the point. So instead of printing this particular message, now what we can do, I don't want to print this particular message. I want to create, like I want to increase this particular size. Getting the point. Basically, int arrays are the fixed size here. Getting the point. So before using this particular arrays concept, now what we need to do, we need to initialize the data. We need to initialize the particular array here. Without initializing, we cannot work with this particular arrays because of arrays are fixed size here. Now what we can do, so whenever this particular the index value is reached to this particular length here, now what I need to do, I want to create one more array here. Getting the point. So I want to create one more array. If you observe in the previous example, what we identified, the fixed stack constructor we specified the 5, and fixed stack constructor I specified the 8. So if I'm going to run with 9, getting the point. So not here. If I'm going to insert the value 9 here. So basically what happens internally, now you can observe command prompt java c test.java. So it's compiled successfully, and I'm trying to run this particular example. Now you can observe now what happening internally. So now you can see stack is full. Stack is full. So I don't want to get this particular message. I don't want to get this particular message. So if it is a stack, the particular stack is full. Now what I need to do, I want to create one more array here. Getting the point. So I want to increase an array here. So what are the ways we can increase this particular array here? Right. Now if you observe carefully what happened internally. So this condition is satisfying here, and this particular message printing here. Getting the point. So whenever this particular condition is satisfied, I don't want to get this particular message here. But so whatever the value we are trying to insert here, now you can observe basically this particular loop is going to repeat until 0 to 7. But here now what we are doing is, so the 8th record also we are trying to insert. But whenever we are trying to insert this particular 8th record here, the size is filled. Getting the point. So based on this particular size, based on this particular size of this particular int array, what happens internally? It's filled here. So if you observe carefully, now internally how this particular arrays are going to work here. This is the way the arrays are going to create it. So 0 location, 1 location, 2 location, and 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8. Now you can observe 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Getting the point. Now, basically, this particular stack is going to repeat. Previously, it's 8 here. 8. Getting the point. So size is 8 here. Getting the point. Here we provided the constructed size is 8. So whenever we are providing the size is 8, the values we can insert 0 to 7. Getting the point. So size is going to start from the 1 and indexes are going to start from the 0. Getting the point. This is the indexes and this is the size here. Getting the point. Eight. Getting the point. So up to this, the size is completed, and 0 to 7, the indexes are completed here. Getting the point. Now you can imagine. So this is no longer available because the size we provided as a 8. So once we provided 8 here, now what happens internally? What happens internally? So we are trying to insert the one more record here. We are trying to insert the one more record here. So this particular variable will become 8 here. Correct the point. Final record, this particular variable will become 8, and the stock length minus 1 also we are going to have 8 here. So whenever we are having 8 here, we are repeating to the stock is full. So we are trying to print the one message, stock is full. But here, what I need to do, once this particular stack is full, we want to expand this particular stack. We want to expand like this here. So this is the 8th record and this is the 9th record. Like we want to expand this particular integer array here. So is there any way to expand this particular integer array once a size is created? After creation of the size. After creation of the size. Getting the point. Now if you observe, yeah, so we have an option to increase the size. So let's see how I'm going to write this particular code here. And here, these are the steps are important here. If this particular condition is satisfied, here I want to make close brace. Okay. So in this, now what I'm trying to do, here I am trying to create one more array here. So one more int array I'm trying to create here. So with the help of this particular temp array. Getting the point. So with the help of temp, we are trying to create one more array here. So the type here, int array. Right. So here, now what I want to do, when this particular condition is satisfied here, so with the help of length, with the help of this particular stock.length into, so multiplication with the 2. Getting the point. So basically, what is the length we are going to have here? The length we are going to have as a case. Getting the point. So size will become length. Getting the point. So what are the size we are providing here? The size we are providing as a 8 here. Whenever we are providing this particular size as a 8 here, now what happens internally? So this particular condition is satisfying. And same with the help of this particular length, what I'm doing here, I'm trying to create one more array here. Getting the point. So this is very important here. So one more array. Now what happens internally? So this particular array will insert how many values? So 0 to 15. Getting the point. The size we are having 8, we are trying to multiply with 2. So it will become 16 here. Now 0 to 15, we are going to insert the value. But now you can observe, so this particular array is the empty array is created. Getting the point. So this particular array we created as a empty. Right. Observe here, this is the initial index is 0. The up to the 5th indexes we can insert the value. Now this particular temp we created. So once we created here, now what is the next step here? We need to insert the data here. Getting the point. We need to insert the data. So how we can insert the data into this particular temp? So what is our condition? Because already we are inserting the data into this particular stack. So we are inserting the data into this particular stack here. Now what happens internally? So this particular stack is filled. So we cannot insert one more element into this particular stack here. So whenever we are trying to insert one more record, so we cannot insert here because the size is filled here. So in that case, we created one more array. But now the next step here, we need to move the element here. So whatever the elements we inserted as of, this particular stack, we need to move into this particular temp here. We need to move all the elements into this particular temp here, because so this particular temp array is created with a bigger array compared to this particular array here. Getting the point. Now what we can do, we can copy all the elements into this particular temp. Along with the existing object, we can pass whatever the new object we are trying to insert here. Whatever the new object we are trying to insert here. So that I am going to write here, but I am trying to copy the stack object into this particular temp. So could you please let me know any way to copy the objects here? Any idea? I want to copy the existing object into this particular temp here. So could you please think and let me know any way we can copy the objects into this particular temp?
Yeah, using for loop probably one item like stcki equal to temp I equal to stki, something like that.
Yes, but here what is the condition I want to make here?
Till stk length dot minus 1 or TOS.
Okay, so if I'm going to, yes, so we need to make length only. Okay, so now what I'm doing here, I'm trying to make with stck.length as of now. The same example we can check with IDE. So what happens if I'm going to work with -1 and if I'm going to work with length here. Okay, so I do I plus plus. And after this, now what I'm trying to do here. So this is our temp. So this is the temp int array we created newly. So we need to copy all the objects into this particular temp. And so now you can observe here, whatever the objects, like whatever the values are available based on this particular indexes here. Now what I'm doing here, the same the indexes into this particular temp, we're copying. Getting the point. So from this particular stock, from this particular stck, we are copying into this particular temp here. This particular line is copying the all the STCK array elements into this particular temp. Okay, now you can think here, so how many values we inserted here? So 0 to 7 here. So somewhat 0 to 7 values are inserted here. Getting the point. But now what I want to do, I want to insert the new record here. So which is coming from our main class here. Here we need to insert the 8th record, which is coming from the main method here. So those records, how we can insert it here. Those records, how we can insert it here. So if you observe carefully, once this particular temp is filled here, now what I am doing here? So here I am trying to copy the particular temp into STCK. The particular temp, whatever the temp we created newly, the temp I am copying into this particular STCK. So this particular STCK now is going to have the bigger array. So previously it does not have the particular bigger array. Now it is having the capacity to insert some bigger values here, because we incremented the size up to 15 here. So up to 15 we can insert the values. Up to 15 we can insert the values here. Now you can observe, we need to copy this particular line here. We need to copy this particular line here. Getting the point. So this is all about the new creation, like dynamic stock we are going to call here. So based on this particular length here, we are trying to create one more array, and we are copying all the elements into the newly created array. And after copying, so whatever the temp object we copied, again the temp object we are cloning into this particular STCK. Okay, so back to here. Now we can work with a simple example here. And here, now what I want to do, here I want to work with 12. I'm trying to insert the value as a 12. Same, I want to work with the iteration for the insertion and loading an object. We need same here. The loop it need to repeat for inserting and loading an object from the particular integer. Okay, now compile one more time into stack. Now you can observe we inserted for the second object here. Now you can see up to 11. So 0 to 11. What is the condition we make? 12. But here you can check here the size we made as a 8 here. Here we made as a size 8 here. But the loop is repeating until 12 times here. 0 to 11. Getting the point. So now what happens internally? So let me make the 12 as it is. Here I want to make 25. Here I'm making 25. But what is the default size we made as a 5? Compile one more time and execute here. Now you can observe 0 to 24. Getting the point. 0 to 24. So this is the way we can create the initial size of this particular array. But based on our requirement, now what we can do? We can increment the particular array size here. Getting the point. So this example is very important here. This example is very important here. So if you understand this particular example, you can easily understand our collection frameworks. We are having some classes here. So those classes also, so those are going to increment dynamically. So based on our value, so the size is going to increment it here. But only the difference in, so this is the way they are going to create internally some temp arrays, and they are going to clone existing values into the newly created the particular object here, and later they are trying to insert new objects here. Getting the point. in any collection frameworks here, so this is the way the objects are going to increment dynamically. Getting the point. So we'll see the code, like how exactly the classes are going to increment dynamically. But this is a simple example to understand how the objects are dynamically is going to increment here. Okay. Now what I will do, so I will try to copy this particular object into our Notepad plus, Edit plus Eclipse IDE here. So that we can debug the code, how this particular code is, like how the objects are creating dynamically here. So meanwhile, I want to copy into stack. Where is our int stack here? So this is our class we created. So it's trying to load. So it is taking 2 more minutes to open this particular ID. Okay. Now ID is open here. So let me implement the yesterday exam here. So while running another example, we may get this particular error here. Callback AMPL. Okay. Now you can observe here, I'm trying to paste this particular into stack here. So this is our into stack here. Let me move this particular class into under this particular package here. Okay. And finally, we need to go for the fixed stack class. So this is our fixed stack class we created here. And here we need to move this particular class also. And finally, we have one more class, statist. Okay, so this class also I'm moving into under this particular package. Okay, so back to here. Now what we can do, so directly we can put the breakpoint inside this particular if condition. So here I'm trying to put a breakpoint here. Okay, and let me go to this particular class, and I'm running this particular example with a debug. So debug as a Java application. Getting the point. Now you can observe. So what is this particular length here? Now you can see we're having 5 here. The size we are having 5. Okay. Now what we can do, up to 5 times we can repeat here. So second, third it's coming, fourth it is coming. Now we need to understand this particular condition here. Now you can see the condition is returning true here. So now, let me resize this, cutting the pen. The condition is written true here. So whenever this particular condition is returning true, now what happens internally? So what is the value we are inserting? The item value we are inserting 5 here. Cutting the point. So what is the toss we are having? 4. Basically, if you observe, the size we are having 5. The length we are having 5. Right. But here, now what I'm doing here, length minus 1. So why I'm making the length minus 1 here? Because the values we are going to insert from the 0 onwards. But the size is going to start from the 1 onwards. So don't confuse here. This is important here. Okay, because of this particular 0, now what I'm doing here, I'm making minus 1 here. The indexes are going to start from 0. We are making minus 1. Okay. So we create, like, the condition is satisfying here. Now I'm creating one more int array. Right. So with the help of this particular size, what is the size we are going to create here? Now you can see the size we are creating 10 here. So based on this particular 10, we are going to create one more temp array. Now you can observe this particular temp is going to store how many values here? 10 values. Now you can count here. It will become 10 here, 0 to 9. 3, 9, 10. Cutting the point. The size is created 10. Okay, now we understand here the size is created 10. So once the size is created 10, now what we are doing here? We are copying the object into, so whatever the object we created as of now, all the objects we are copying into this particular 10. Okay, now you can see all the objects are copied. 0 to 4. Cutting the point. So 0 to 4 are copied into this particular temp here. Now this line is important. Now what we are doing here? So whatever the temp we created here, I'm cloning into this particular stack here. So you need to understand carefully inside this stack. Now it's having 0 to 5 and temp we are having 0 to 10. Okay, observe carefully what happens here. So temp also having 0 to 9. Temp also having 0 to 9 and stack also having 0 to 9. Cutting the point. Stack also having 0 to 9. Now what you understand here? We clone the temp object into this particular stack here. Okay. Now what I'm doing here, I'm trying to so whatever the item we are having, inserting into this particular location. So what is the location we are having? 4 here. So now you can see in the stack the particular 4 is already occupied here. In the stack the particular 4 is already occupied here. Now with the help of this particular pre-increment here, we are initializing the item value. Now you can observe in the 5th location, the 5th value is stored here because of this particular pre-increment operator. Now what happening internally? The index value is going to incremented, and once the index value is incremented, so whatever the item value we are having, the item value we are storing here. So if you observe, if I'm going to change here the stck dot length minus 1, what happens internally? How many times this particular loop is going to repeat here? So if I'm going to make -1 here, now you can see the condition we are having, oh, sorry, now it's will become 9, but previously it was 4 here. Getting the point? It was 4. Previously it was 4. So when the condition is 4, what happens internally? This particular loop is going to repeat 4 times here. This particular loop is going to repeat 4 times here. But, so if you observe carefully, if the loop is repeated 4 times here, now the fifth record we are unable to copy. Why the fifth record we are unable to copy? So understand carefully here. So basically, the initial stack, this is the initial stack here, 0, 1, 2, and 3, 4. And what are the values we are having? The indexes and the actual values are same. Getting the point? Here also we are having indexes and actual values same. If you observe carefully, here, so whenever the stack dot length -1, what is the value it's returning? It is returning 4. It is returning 4. Getting the point? So same way, here also it will return 4. Here also it will return 4. Right. The condition we made as a I less than 4. Okay. Let me make as a I less than 4. And so temp of I, like stck is equals to temp of I. So what happens internally? So this particular 0 value. Getting the point? This particular 0 value is going to inserted into this particular temp. So 0 is completed. Getting the point? So I is equals to 0 completed. And I is equals to 1. I is equals to 1. So 1 value copied. Getting the point? So 1 value copied. And I is equals to 2. So second value is also copied. Getting the point? And I is equals to 3. Getting the point? So third value also copied here. And whenever I'm making, like whenever this particular condition will return back to the I is equals to 4. I is equals to 4. So it will copy the value or not. The value is going to copy or not here. Because now you can see I value will become 4 and the condition we are having also 4. The condition we are going to have 4. Now, so could you please let me know this particular 4 value is going to copied or not? This particular 4 value is going to copied or not? When this particular I value will become 4.
No,
So why it is cannot copied?
because it is less, your condition is I less than 4. So when it is equal to 4, condition is not satisfied.
Yes. So basically 4 less than 4. We are going to have the final condition here 4 less than 4. This particular condition is going to return false here. Right. So once the condition is false, we cannot get this particular fourth value here. Now, so instead of making the length -1, now what we can do? So we can make length here. So if we are going to make length here, so the length if I'm going to make, we are going to have I5 here. Carrying the point. So we'll have a 5. 4 less than 5. The condition is going to satisfy. The 4 values also is copied. And whenever we are reaching into 5 less than 5. Whenever we are reaching into 5 less than 5, this particular condition will not satisfy. It's not going to copy any values. It will not going to copy any values. So this is the way we need to think here whenever we are trying to create any dynamic object creation here. Getting the point? Now you can observe. I want to remove this. I want to remove. Now finally, so we understand here, it's moving into the L section. So up to how many records it's going to move? Else block 9 records here. So this 8 also, it's going to move into the L. But now you can see the 9th record again, it's going to satisfy. The 9th record again, it's going to satisfy. Now you can see, so what is the stack we created here? The stack we created here, 20. So previously we created as a 10. Now we are creating 20. Right. Again, all the whatever the 10 records we copied, the 10 records we are going to copying into this particular temp. So now you can see, so previously we are having the 10 size record, previously we are going to have the size called 10. Previously we created 10 size temp object here. But now we can see, so those objects is no longer available. Because, so it's replaced with the size we are having 20 here. So 0 to 19. Getting the point. It is replaced with 19 here. Okay, so back to here. Now what we need to understand, all the objects are copied here. How many objects we are having? 0 to 9. The 10 objects are copied. Now the 11 object I am trying to copy. 11 object I am trying to copy. So 11 objects is copying here, and up to 20 records is going to repeat for the else block here. So this is the 19 records is going to satisfy again. Now you can see, if we want to understand, the condition is returning false or true. So still it is returning false. Okay, let me go for the else block. Maybe, so this particular iteration is going to satisfy. Now you can see, now this particular if condition is satisfying. Okay, so now we are creating. So what is the size we are going to create? 40. We are going to create here 40. Okay, observe, we are copying all the 20 records into this particular newly created temp. Right, now you can observe all the 20 records are be copied. So up to 19. Up to 19, all the objects are copied. Okay, we are cloning the temp objects into stack. We are inserting the record. So this is all about the creation. Now, so it's not going to create new object here because we are inserting like within the size here. So this is the second record is going to call for 12 times here. Okay. Now let me so close this particular breakpoints here. I'm trying to print all the values. Now you can see, so 0 to 24 and 0 to 11. Getting the point. So this is the way these objects are going to created based on the dynamic size. So any questions regarding this particular dynamic size creation? Okay. Now what I want to do, so this is a fixed stack execution and dynamic stack execution we identified. We need to move back to the variables in interface here. Getting the variables in interface here. So whenever we are trying to work with the variables here, so what are the restrictions we need to follow and how exactly the variables are going to work. Okay, so let me work with a simple example on this particular variables here. And I'm trying to work with the interface. Inside the interface, I'm going to provide the variable section here. I'm trying to work with the shared constants here. Right. So this is our name of the interface. And now what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to work with the variables here. So the variable name I'm providing as a no, 0, and int s is equals to 1, and int maybe is equals to 2, and int later is equals to 3. So observe how I'm trying to work with the variable names here. And this is soon, finally, never. So these are the 5 variables I'm declaring here. Like along with the declaration, I'm initializing also. So I'm trying to work with the 5 variables here. So all the variables we are going to have with the integer data types here. Okay. Now I'm closing this particular interface here. So shared constants here. And finally, now what I want to do, I want to work with the implementation. So I want to implement the particular interface. What is the interface we created? Shared constants. And questions. I'm trying to implement with the. So this is the name of the interface. So whenever we are trying to implement from this particular interface called shared constants here, now we need to understand how we can work with the variables here. We are having one class called random. I'm going to work with this particular random class to get the random values here. So to work with this particular random values, now what I want to do, I want to import the class where it is available. Like this class is available within the which package, java.util.random. Getting the point. And after this, now what I'm doing here, so I have one method. Inside this particular method, now what I'm doing here, I'm trying to work with using this particular random. Next double. Here we are going to get some next double value. Okay. Now whatever the value we are getting here, I'm trying to convert into int here, because so we need a int value. So from the double we are converting into int here. Now you can see if this particular value less than 30. If this particular value having less than 30, now what I'm trying to do, so simple return no, and else if, and this particular condition I'm making 60. Now what we can do, return yes, and here we can work with 75. Later, and we can work with the final record here. Something I want to make. return soon. Getting the point. And if any condition is not satisfied here, now what we can do? Return never. Getting the point. So this is our method, and this is class level brace. Getting the point. So we need to follow this particular class level brace and method level brace. Okay. So after this, now what we can do? Let me save this particular class as a question here. Okay. So first we'll check with this example here how exactly it's going to work. And where we can create. I want to create from this particular class. Okay. And here, now what I'm doing here, I'm creating an object of this particular questions. Questions is equals to new questions here. After this, what we can do, we can work with q dot ask. Getting the point. So basically, first we can work with print method. Let me save here. So what is the value we are going to get? So that we need to understand here. Compile the stack test here. Now what happened here? Oh. So we inserted one more 0. Next row. It's compiled successfully. Now you can see we are having 5. So why we are having 5 here? So we need to understand here for this particular 5 here never. So never is become, it's nothing but these are the condition is not satisfied here. So it's moving into the else section. It's moving into the else section. So basically, so what I want to provide, whatever the variables we are going to provide here inside this particular interface, the variables by default final variable here, public and final variable here. Getting the point. So final variable section we already identified here. Final variable section we already identified here. Getting the point. Because only one time we can initialize. For trying to initialize from the next time, we are going to get an error here. We are going to get an error here. So that we need to understand how we can work with the final variable in interface here. So this is a simple example I'm trying to work here. So to understand this particular random value, now what we can do, we can print here system.out. What is a random value we are getting here. Let me compile one more time and execute here. So this is a random value we are getting. If I'm going to compile and if I'm running one more time, now you can see we are getting different values. Now you can see we are getting different values here. So these are about the, for the random purpose we can work with the random class here. So we cannot understand here what is the value we are going to get. What is the value we are getting here? Okay, getting the point. So any questions regarding this particular variables in our interface here? Okay. So back to here, basically, once the variable section is completed, now we are moving into interface, whether interface can be extended or not. And the previous example we identified here, we are having one A class, getting the point. A is our super class and B is extending from our A class here. So same way, if you observe, we are having one B interface here. This particular B interface can extend or the B interface can extend A or not. Getting the point. When we are trying to work with a class with interface, so we understand here implements keyword here. But same way, when we are trying to work with a interface to interface here. So which keyword we need to use? So we need to use this particular extend keyword, or we can work with the implements keyword. So now we are going to discuss this particular section here. Basically, when we are trying to work with the interface to interface here, we are going to work with the extends keyword only. Getting the point. So we are having one super interface called A, and the sub interface is extending from the super interface. We can work with the extends keyword. We cannot work with the implements keyword. The implements keyword is going to use only when we are trying to work with the class to interface. Class to interface. So class to class we already identified. We are going to work with the extends keyword, and same way interface to interface. Interface to interface also we are going to work with the extends keyword only. Getting the point. Now we'll understand how we can work with a simple example here. Now observe, I'm trying to work with one interface. The name of the interface here, int1. Getting the point. And we are having one method called math. So here, math2. So it's nothing but mathematical 1 and mathematical 2. So two methods I'm having. Right. So this is our super interface. Let me save this particular interface, and I want to work with one more interface, int2. Getting the point. And here, now what I want to do, here I want to specify method 3. Right. But here, now what we need to understand here, this particular class is going to extend from the int1. Getting the point. So this particular class is extending, sorry, this particular interface, int2 interface is extending from the int1, interface 1 here. So whenever it is extending, now we already identified here. So whatever the two methods, these two methods are logically available into this particular method. Logically available into this particular interface here. Getting the point. So now
In interface 1, you have both same method 2.
okay. We need to make method 1 here. Okay. So back to here, I want to save this particular interface also. Getting the point. Here, now what we need to understand here, whatever the super interface information we are having, so those information will available logically. So this particular method will available logically, and same way this particular method also will available logically. Getting the point. So physically it will exist in our interface 1, but because of this particular extends keyword, we can work with so these two methods also. These two methods also from this particular interface 2. Okay. Now, so we cannot create an object of this particular interface we already identified. Why we cannot create objects for this particular interface? So here we are having fully abstraction here. The interface is having fully abstraction here. Right. Now I want to create an object here. Getting the point. So I want to create an object. So to create an object here, now what we can do? So we need to implement here. We need to implement the class. Right. Now what I'm doing here, I'm trying to work with int impl. So int impl is nothing but interface impl. Getting the point. So implements. We need to use the keyword call implements. Why we need to use the keyword call implements here? Basically, when we are having the relation with the class to interface, we need to use the implements keyword here. Okay, so back to here, what is the class I want to take? So if I want to take this particular int1, we cannot work with the method 3. Getting the point. So if I'm going to work with this particular int2, we can work with all the methods here. So these two are the logically existed here. One is physically existed here. So getting the point. So based on our requirement, we can work with this particular interface here. Okay. Now if you observe, if I'm going to work with int2, now what we need to do here? So here, how many methods we need to implement here? So I'm trying to work with int2. int2 is nothing but, so this is a interface I'm trying to implement here. Now, how many methods we need to implement in our this particular class? So could you please let me know, so what you're trying to think here? Either we need to implement one method, or we need to implement two methods, or we need to implement three methods.
Probably 3 minutes.
Yes, so we need to implement three methods. So why we need to implement three? Because so internally we are having actions keyword. So when we are having this particular actions keyword, so these two are logically existed into this particular class. Right. Now, so I want to write each method here. I want to define each method. I'm not going to write much of code here. So simple public void. So this particular method is implemented in our IMPL class. Method 1 method is implemented in our IMPL class, interface IMPL class. So same way, we need to implement these 2 and 3 methods here. Right. And here, now what I'm trying to work with, so int method.
Method 3.
Right. So now you can observe int method. So this particular int method is own method own in int implementation class. Okay, let me close this particular int IMPL class. Okay, so once I'm going to close, what I will do, here I'm trying to work with the main class here. So instead of creating one more object here, one more class, here only I'm trying to work with the main class. And here, so what is the object I want to create? So can we create int1 int1 in is equal to no int IMPL.
Yes.
So can we create object?
Yes.
Okay, now you can see if I'm going to call meth1 and do in dot int method. So will it compile and execute this particular class?
No.
This particular, why it cannot compile?
Because interface method only that object will take. not this implementation class.
Yes. So now cannot find this symbol. This particular method is not finding. Cutting the pen. So now we need to understand very carefully whenever we are trying to work with this particular interface reference here. Right. So interface references can only understand here what are the interface methods here. What are the interface methods? Now you can see if I'm going to change to the method 3. So whatever this particular method 3 here,
No, it will give error because first interface don't have.
okay, now you can see. So this method also cannot find the method 3 here. Getting the point. Now what we need to understand here. So either we can go for the int2. So to work with this particular example, and it is compiled successfully. int impl. So these two are the implemented in our int impl class we are getting here. But now, so I want to print this particular specific method. I want to work with the specific method here. Getting the fun. So using this particular interface reference cannot find the class specific method here.
We need to create reference of same class int.
Only we are having an option here. We can work like this. So using this particular int impl class reference here, now we can print all the objects here, whether those are into the super interface or those are into the any class here. With the help of this particular reference here, we can print here. Cutting the point. Now we need to understand here the inheritance concepts here. Very important concept we are discussed here. The inheritance here. Okay. So extends keyword and implements keyword we discussed here. So these two are the very important here. So basically in the real time also we are going to work with more and more on this particular inheritance concepts here. Okay. So anyone having questions regarding this particular current example, what we discussed, interface 1, interface 2 and interface impl class. Any questions?
I have question in the previous example which you gave for random.
Okay.
In that you have used rand.next double. Can I know why did you use like that? You used 100.rand.
Basically,
Okay.
where is our 0, right? Now we understand here what is the random value we are getting here. So now previously some 0.0. Some value we are getting here. So to get some different value, I multiplied with the random value and I've converted into int because this value we are getting as a double value. And so this proper the prop variable we work with the integer value. So we converted into the integer. Just for get some random number I converted, like I'm trying to multiply and I converted into the int. So directly also you can work like this. There is no problem here.
But why to take next double method?
So to get the random value, we need to call this particular method. Basically, this is an object. We created one object here. To get the random value, we need to call this particular method.
Okay. Don't we have any other than double? Other primitive type? Next integer or anything?
So see, this is our random class. So now you can see these are the internal methods. If I'm going to open this particular method, internally it is calling next long. We can call next long method. We have a next long method and next into. next float, boolean. These are the methods we are having. So just for random purpose, I call the next double. We can go for these many methods. We have a next int. Internally, this is calling the next method, and this is so based on this particular logic, we are going to get some random values. So basically, this particular class is going to provide some random values here. You can book to any method. So these are the methods we are having here. So now we can see this particular green colors. These are the public. These are the public methods. So these are the some internal method we cannot call from the outside of this particular class. So now you can see this is a private method. This is the private method. So what are the public methods we are having? So those methods only we can call. Right. So random long one constructor we can call, or default constructor we can call. So set seed one method we are having we can call. Now you can see this is the different method. This is the protected method. Getting the point. Now we need to understand what are the methods we're having inside the random class. We can work with whatever the based on our requirement. So just I'm giving the some basic example on the random example. So you can follow with these many methods. You can execute.
Yes, we can take next int also, right? Instead of next double.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So back to here. Now I want to move with the interface. So if you observe, so as of now, we did not discuss any method body related methods. Getting the point. So whatever the method we are defining, this method by default public and abstract. So that is we already identified here. But here from the Java 1.8 onwards, now what happens internally? So they introduce the default methods here. Getting the point. So what exactly the default methods are going to do? Getting the point. Now, so the default method here, we are going to provide the default implementation of this particular method. Right. Now what you understand here? We can implement the method inside the interface also. From the 1.8 onwards, we can provide the implementation. Getting the point. So when we are trying to work with abstract classes here, like how we created here. So if you observe, so this is our abstract class here. Now what I'm trying to write here, abstract void some test method. This is the abstract method. But now this is the normal method. Normal method. Getting the point. This is the normal method we are defining inside this particular abstract class. So this particular method, as of now, we did not define in our interface section. So far what we discussed in our interface, we did not discuss. But now, from 1.8, we are having the scope here. We can work with the default implementation methods here. So those sections we are going to call as a default methods here. So what exactly the default methods are going to do? Right. So what exactly the abstract method, like in the abstract class, the normal methods are doing. Same way, in the interface, the default methods are going to work here. Getting the point. If you are overriding the method in our implementation class, the specific logic is going to execute here. So otherwise, the default logic is going to execute here. Getting the point. Now we will understand the same example using with this particular interface too. So observe here, let me provide simple example here. Here we are having the name of the method is trying to return some string here. Get string here. Now what I'm trying to do here. So this is the default message I want to return here. If you observe, default string. Right. Now, if if I'm going to add like this, if I'm going to save this particular class here, let me compile it. So it's giving an error here. int ampere, it is not an abstract, does not override the abstract method getString here. Getting the point. So interface abstract method cannot have body. But now what we are doing is we are providing the method body. So basically, if you observe in the abstract class, so this is the way we define the method. But if I'm going to define same way in the interface, we are getting an error here. Right, now what we can do? Here we need to define one keyword called default here. We need to define one keyword called default here. So let's see the same example I'm trying to compile. Getting the point. Now we are not getting any error. Now what you understand here? So with the help of this particular keyword called default here, so we can create any default implementation method here. Default implementation method. Right. Now what I will do, let me run this particular example. And we are not calling the method here. GetString. Here we need to call the particular getString method. What happened? Okay. So getString is going to return message here. So println. Compile one more time and execute here. Now you can observe default string. But where we define this particular default string? In our interface we define here. Right. So now what you understand? From the 1.8 onwards, we can work with the default method in interface here. Okay. The same method, if I'm going to override in our implementation class. Observe, I'm trying to override the same method. So otherwise, we'll keep it. Here I'm trying to override same method, but here override string. Override getString method. Let me compile one more time and execute. Now what you are understanding is, now you can see override getString method is calling here. So previously default string is calling. Previously default string method is calling. Getting the point. Now this is, we need to understand carefully. So either we can reuse the default implementation of the particular method, or whenever we are having any specific requirement here, now what we can do, we can go for the same method and we can override the particular method called getString. So we can write the specific logic here. We can define the specific logic here. Getting the point. So this is the way we can work with the default methods. Any questions regarding this particular default method? Okay. So same thing. Now what I'm trying to do, so I'm trying to work with this particular int stack. So using this particular int stack, now what I'm doing here, default clear method. So where I'm writing inside this particular int stack. Inside this particular int stack, I'm trying to write with one method called clear method. But here we need to understand one more important section here. So this particular fixed stack is already implemented. Already it is implemented. But after implementation also we are writing the one method. So basically in abstract classes, if I'm going to add any method, we need to change our structure here. Wherever the classes are implemented, we need to write the abstract method here. But whenever we're coming back to the default method here, we don't want to change the existing code here. So if you observe, now imagine the fixed stack object is already implemented. Now it is running properly. Right. Now what I'm doing here in interface, I added one more method, the method called clear method. Getting the point? So now, here, what I'm doing here, I'm trying to enable this entire information. Let me recompile the code. So Java C start test.java and Java start test. Getting the point? Now what you are understanding is, even though if I'm going to add the default method in our interface, so we don't want to change any code. Getting the point? So whatever the code we implemented previously, with the help of the previous code, we can run our application. But only the suggestion here, if you need to provide any specific implementation, we can go for the implementation of method, whatever the method we are adding inside the interface here. Getting the point? Now we want to clear the int stack information. Now what we can do, we can go for the clear method. We can override in our fixed stack. We can clear this particular stack related information. Right. So these are about the interface default methods. Now we need to check with the static methods. We are going to have static method in interface. If we observe, so in the normal classes we created static method. So as well as in our abstract classes also we created static methods. Getting the point? So same way, how we can work with a static method. So this particular static method also introduced in 1.8 here. But basically, how we are going to call with the help of this particular interface, we are going to call the static method. Let's see how we can define the static method. Here, in our this particular interface, I'm trying to work with a default method. So as well as I'm trying to work with a static method. And this is a static method is trying to return some value. Get to default number. Return 0. Getting the point. Now you can observe, I want to compile this particular class. I'm not adding the information into the implementation class. But you can observe, so using this particular static method which we implemented in our interface, I'm trying to compile the implementation class. Now you can see we are not getting any compilation error. Now what you are understanding here? So with the help of this particular static method, so whatever the static method we are defining in our interface, so we can provide the static default logic here. For the static method also, we can provide the default logic here. So the default logic is not going to give any error, for the existing code here. Right. Now if you want to override any static method, now what we can do? So we can write here, but the difference here, based on the reference name here, the particular method is going to call. Getting the point. Now observe. So here, inside this particular int2, we created default to number, which is a static. Now what I'm doing here I'm trying to call the default method. So to call this particular default method, now what we can do, int dot default number. Here if you observe, int2 is our interface name. With the help of this particular interface name, we are calling this particular method here. Now you can see, compile one more time and do enter imp. So what is the value we are getting? 0. Getting the point. So finally, now you can see here we are getting 0. So if you see carefully here, I want to return 10 value here, and inside this particular int impl class, if I'm going to write same method, static into get to default number, here I want to work with 25. Here I want to work with 25. So if I'm going to change the reference here, because we already identified here, the static methods are going to call based on the class reference or interface reference here. If I'm going to change here int impl, if I'm going to change int impl, so what is the value we are expecting here? We are expecting 25. We are expecting 25. Now we can say I'm trying to compile and I'm executing. The 25 we are getting here. Getting the point. So why we are getting the 25 here? So because we are calling the static method with the help of class reference. The class method is going to find. Now see, if I'm going to comment out this particular method, sorry. Now you can see we are getting an error here. The method is not finding. But now the static method does not have a relation with the class and interface, because int impl is our implementation class of int2, because same method we already implemented in our interface, but the method is not calling here. Why the method is not calling? Because the reference is important. We are calling with the class reference here. Now what you are understanding here? The static method, whatever the reference we are going to call, so based on the references, the static method is going to execute here. Right. So this is all about this. Yeah. Go ahead.
When you're overriding the static method, get default number, you're writing static again. But when you're overriding get string method, you're not writing default again in this implementation first. Can I know why?
Yes. So basically, the default methods are going to access with the help of the object reference, but the static reference, like static method, we are going to work with without any object creation references. Directly we can work with class references or interface references. So if I'm removing this, again it will become normal method. Basically, we are discussing the static method here. The same behavior we need to implement in our implementation class.
What is the
If I'm saying,
difference between normal method and static method?
so you did not attend the class, we discussed already. So we identified the more examples also. So basically, the
Like
difference
in
here,
static method,
yeah, tell me.
like in static method, if we declare with a static, right? It it is like common for all the properties. For example, you are you are an you are an college student. There are so many college student. College come under the same, like for all the student, college will be the same.
Yes. So basically, the static functionality is going to common for the all the classes wherever we are trying to work here. But normal methods are specific to the each object here. That's why we already discussed with the static variable, static methods. So with the different example we identified when the static is introduced here. So just go through the previous class videos, then we can easily understand how exactly the static working internally.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So these are about the static method in interface here. So this section, these two sections, default and statics are introduced in 1.8 onwards here. Okay. So now, so tomorrow we are going to discuss exception handling here. So exception handling is one of the important concepts we are going to discuss. So inside this particular exception handling, we'll try to work with try catch and some different keywords here. Okay. So the section we can discuss in our tomorrow class. So anyone having any questions regarding our today's session? Okay. So if we don't have anything, we'll continue tomorrow.
Okay.